my kids were by myself, and I stayed home and took care of my kids, and I volunteered in the schools as they grew up. And as a volunteer, I began to understand some of the pitfalls that happens to kids that don't fit in that cookie cutter mold that the district expects.
Right.
And I began to talk to some of the parents to let them know what they should be doing and their rights, and to make sure to follow up on their kids and their files, that the school has their CUNE files, because after a while their kids begin to get labeled in those CUNE files, and then by the time they're in junior high they don't understand, well, why is it in elementary school my kid was doing fine and all of a sudden they get to junior high school and they're having all these problems? Well, the teachers, they judge our children by what's in that file, as opposed to getting to know the child.
Right.
And working with the child. A teacher is supposed to be there to mentor a child and educate a child, not to try to conform them into any.
How did you come to the conclusion to start a charter school? I mean, when most people think of charter schools, at least in Nevada, they think very wealthy white guy, Andre Agassi, who gets, everything the state wants thrown at him for his school, and yet, I mean, you don't fit that mold. You're not a big, well-known celebrity and a wealthy person. I don't get that impression. So why would you, or how did you go about getting the charter school? How did that idea come to you?
With at-risk students, with at-risk kids, period, through my church, with my kids growing up. I was a youth leader in church and in the community. My kids were always popular, so a lot kids that are at risk, they always migrated to my home. And where I come from, in Sacramento, California, in the ghetto per se area, there's a lot of kids that didn't have family environment, so they clung to my children in my home, and I became a surrogate mother for a lot of kids. And I just believe that any child that you come in contact with, it's your responsibility to give them that nurturing environment, regardless to where they come from or who they are.
School is just an extension of what you've always done just as a parent or neighbor.
Exactly. And when I moved here, my boys were already out of school, but I had a daughter still in junior high and high school. And in my home, I always taught my kids, you can always come to me about anything. And some of the conversations that went on with her and her friends in my home just amazed me and broke my heart. And that's when I began to find out about the early teen pregnancy and the whole sub-network that these kids took on with these girls that were pregnant and hiding them, the pregnancy. They're working and paying, giving this girl money to take care of her doctor's appointments and buying milk and diapers. And this isn't something that our kids should have to deal with. And a lot of these kids wouldn't tell their parents because they were afraid of getting kicked out. Where would they go? So now we have a lot of young women that are going to have to live with the issue of abortion, that they aborted their child in order to be able to remain at home. So
now
they're not being educated, and then the district has SAISs, but it's only for young women. They can only get their GED. They can't go for a diploma. They can only be in there. The child can only be in their daycare until they're 9 months or walking. So once that's done, the kid's kicked out of daycare, which means the mother can't go to school.
Right.
So it's useless.
And
that
makes sense.
I mean,
and you have a higher attendance rate than the
yes,
Washoe County School District.
And we have a full daycare.
Yeah, there you go.